Pursuant to MGL 7C 38, Section 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of a meeting of a public body or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Beginning of the meeting, the chair shall inform other attendees of any such recordings. This meeting is being recorded by CTSB, the town of Great Barrington, the Berkshire Ag, and Berkshire Eagle. Any member of the public wishing to speak at the meeting must receive permission of the chair. The listing of agenda items are those reasonably anticipated by the chair which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Start with select board's announcements and statements. Phil?
Yes, just very briefly to follow up from last week. I formally resigned from the finance committee last Thursday.
Thank you, Phil.
Could you hold on 1 second?
Of course.
What
Yes.
I'd like to do is start the.
Sorry.
Folks, today we're trying something a little bit new. We have some grant funds that will allow us to simultaneously broadcast this this meeting with live Spanish language interpretation. We have Maria Lisa and her colleague Alex are here to explain to folks who are attending on Zoom how that will work. Maria Lisa, would you like to go ahead and explain that before we get
Yes.
started?
Absolutely. Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Maria Lisa Fuller, and I accompany here by my colleague and co-founder, Alex Valdivieso. We want to first take the opportunity to thank the town of Great Barrington for being pioneers in these efforts with local government. You are the first municipality to give us the space and opportunity to carry out this work in this capacity. So we're very thankful for the opportunity that you have provided for us to be doing this work with you all. So Language Justice Solutions' mission is to foster a pragmatic towards diversity. We focus our efforts in creating safe spaces for all individuals while we continue to advance language justice practices, ensuring that every individual has the right to express themselves in what we call the language of their heart. We believe that when you allow people and community the space to communicate authentically, we create the conditions for real, meaningful conversations that benefit everyone involved. Today, we're going to be using simultaneous interpretation to support this inclusive space. Once I finish giving this message in Spanish, we're going to non-interpretation, and you will see that a new icon appears in the bottom of your screen. The icon says interpretation. So we're going to ask you to click on it and select your preferred language. Only those who are fully bilingual do not need to select the channel. Otherwise, every single person should do that in the Zoom space so they can fully hear everybody. If you're joining from a different device, such as a tablet or a mobile phone, you'll find the interpretation feature when you locate the 3 dots in the bottom right corner of your screen. So either the globe icon or the 3 dots. We're going to ask you to please join that space. And I'm so sorry, I totally forgot to share the instructions that I have. Sorry, 1 quick second. I apologize for that. Wrong here. Okay, so other than that, we want to tell you and remind you that Spanish is lengthier than English, so please be mindful of your speed while you present to allow the space for interpretation. If you speak too fast, the accuracy of the interpretation can be compromised, and we want to make sure that all the information and the message is accurately presented to the other folks in this space. Going to do the same message in Spanish, and then we can enable interpretation, Chris. Hola, buenas tardes con todos. Me llamo María Elisa y estoy aquí acompañada con mi colega Alex Valdivieso. Somos cofundadores de Language Justice Solutions. Queremos primeramente dar las gracias al municipio de la ciudad y el town de Great Barrington por su compromiso con la justicia lingüística. Son el primer gobierno local en darnos la oportunidad de hacer este trabajo en esta capacidad. Estamos muy agradecidos de que ustedes estén tomando esta iniciativa y están marcando un ejemplo para otras comunidades en el condado. Lo que vamos a hacer hoy día es que vamos a crear un espacio inclusivo al proveer interpretación simultánea en este espacio. Cuando yo termine de dar de estas instrucciones, lo que usted va a ver es que aparece un nuevo icono en la parte inferior de su pantalla con la palabra interpretación. Si es que usted nos acompaña desde un dispositivo diferente como una tableta o un teléfono móvil, es posible que encuentre la opción de interpretación al ubicar los 3 botones en la parte derecha inferior de la pantalla. Sea el botón de interpretación o los 3 puntitos, escoja su canal de preferencia. Únicamente las personas que no son fully completamente bilingües son las que no tienen que utilizar la interpretación. El resto, por favor, les invitamos a que todos lo hagan. Quiero también recordarles que el español es más largo que el inglés, así que seamos conscientes de la velocidad al hablar para permitir el espacio a la interpretación. Si es que usted habla muy rápido, la precisión de la interpretación podría verse comprometida y obviamente Alex y yo queremos asegurarnos de que estamos haciendo el mejor trabajo para pasar el mensaje original de la mejor manera. This is all we have, Chris. We're ready to get started. Again, thank you all for having us and thank you for leading the efforts in language justice in the county. We can enable interpretation now.
I'll enable the interpretation. People can select the language that works for them.
Chris, let me know when you have. We have not been in the channels just yet.
No, Chris, yeah.
Okay, Steve, I think we're ready to go.
Okay, sounds
Resume
good.
with the select board statements.
Okay. Thank you, Phil. Ben.
Hi. That's, thank you, Chris, and, thank you to, Mary, Lisa, and Alex for doing this. This is fantastic. I didn't know this was starting tonight, but this is so lovely to be able to have this, for everyone viewing online. I wanted to take just a quick moment to kind of touch on something that happened in town, about 2 weeks ago. In front of my place of work, a group that didn't really identify themselves, but a group of heavily armed masked men without any real government identification other than some tactical vests that said police came into downtown Great Barrington and arrested a man, apparently for being in violation of an immigration visa. It's obviously a big, complicated issue. And I think, there's space to have an immigration debate, and obviously I have my feelings on that. I don't think, I would hope that no matter where you stand on that, the idea that masked men abducting someone without identifying themselves or presenting a warrant chills you as much as it does me, and that the only silver lining from that incident was to see the response of people who showed up to advocate for the right of men being taken that day. That there are some great activists in our area working to make sure that people know their rights and are trained if something like this happens again. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Counselor?
I just wanted to thank whomever, probably the DPW, who put the names of those veterans up by the Great Barrington sign. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we did that. Not telephone poles, but I think it's just as good. So thank you for that being done.
Yeah, just wanted to take a minute and welcome Phil officially to our board. Look forward to working with him and the rest of our committee here. So I kind of have this statement every year, but we have a lot of work ahead of us this year, and I know that there will be some tough discussions and some hard debates. But I know that every single one of us that sit at this table have a deep love for our town. And so I know through compromise, no matter how hard the debates get, that we'll come out with the right solution to benefit our town. So again, just want to welcome Phil to the board and look forward to working with you and the rest of you we have quite the workload ahead of us. So
Thank you.
Thanks. Tonight
I have nothing specific, but I will just take this opportunity again to thank our Spanish language interpreters who are online. And for folks who are on Zoom, don't forget to select the language of your choice. Instructions are on screen for you at this time. I'll leave them up for a moment as the chairman moves on to the approval of minutes items. Good.
Okay, we have approval of minutes for April 14th, 15th, 22nd, and 28th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Do I have a second?
Second,
Discussion.
May I ask a question about those minutes?
Go right up, and identify yourself.
Thank you. Karen Johnson, State Representative Barrington. The question about the minutes of April 14th is I'm asking for clarification of the busking permit. I know Garfield had asked a question concerning the one-day permit wording. And I'd like a little clarification because I'm wondering if that permit could indeed be 1 day a week and not 2.
We've already given the permit, it's 2 days a week. Friday and Saturday.
In the minutes, it was brought up about clarification about that 1 day.
Well, I think what Garfield was asking, he can correct me if I'm wrong, correctly, was why they were called 1 day permits, but that's just the wording of the name of the permit.
In the future, could the permit be limited to 1 day instead of 2 days?
You would have to come then, that the applicant makes the request. And when they make that request, you can come and make your argument why that would be. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah,
Thank you.
yes. Anyone else? Bill, you're gonna recuse? So one recusal, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Licenses and permits, application for 1 day entertainment license. Housatonic Improvement Committee for Party in the Park, Housatonic Commons at the corner of Pleasant and Front Street, Saturday, June 14th, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eric, you're gonna,
I'm gonna recuse myself due to presenting and being a sponsor of this event.
and move that the board approve this application
no,
subject
we're
to.
not ready. They're gonna make a presentation. I don't think you were told that.
No, it's not.
So, hello. I'm here with Angela to present for the Housatonic Improvement Committee for the Party in the Park, which we're gonna do June 14th from 12 to 4. Gonna be, I believe this is our third year of doing it. Gonna be the same sort of setup. We're gonna have live music, we're gonna have dance from Pulse, we're gonna have a few food trucks, a lot of kids' activities, double the amount of face painting. And yeah, a bunch of local vendors, businesses showing off what they do. Some people from Muse and Peace Through Culture, Pulse is gonna be heavily involved. So yeah, just looking to have permission to do it, live music.
Thank you. No, sir.
All right, move that the board approve this application subject to conditions issued by town staff.
Have a second.
Second.
Any questions, discussion?
Just a quick, I mean, I am also a member of the Housatonic Improvement Committee. I've been involved with this for the last 2 years. It's a fantastic day in Housatonic. The group has done a great job putting together the last few years. I think this year will be fantastic. I hope everybody comes out.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. Looking forward to it. Next is application for 1 day beer and wine license, After Hours Hospitality LLC for a dinner at Ward's Nursery, 600 Main Street, Barrington, Saturday, June 7th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Kevin, maybe?
You got it?
Yeah. Kevin, just identify yourself, please. Unmute yourself.
How's it going? Yeah, it's Kevin Kelly here.
Do you want to just give a little overview of what you're planning to do?
Yeah, so this is going to be our summer kickoff dinner party at Ward's Nursery. So it's going to be similar to the dinner party we did for Valentine's Day at Ward's, but we're hoping to have this one outside in the gardens. So it is weather dependent. But we have the rain location set in one of their greenhouses. But essentially, it's going to be a ticketed dinner that's family style. So about 7 courses of vegetable forward food that's seasonal and local. And we're also going to be supporting Berkshire Bounty and donating a portion of the ticket proceeds to them.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the one-day beer and wine license, the Half Valley Hospitality LLC. For dinner at Ward's Nursery, 600 Main Street, Great Barrington, Saturday, June 7th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Do I have a second?
Second with a question.
Yes, go ahead.
And what promoted this and what is the purpose? I've never known that you guys had dinners there before or whatever. Does this have, I mean, what prompted you to want to do this, I guess, or why?
Yeah, so it's kind of part of the business model is just hosting kind of curated dining experiences in unique locations. So whether it's farms, museums, restaurants during the hours that they're closed, it's all about working with different locations during their off hours. So we've become pretty close with Wards, and to host a dinner in their space is something pretty unique. So looking to have something a little different.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Kevin, are you, bathrooms, are you just using the ones at Wards, or is there gonna be any sort of, extra
Yeah,
brought
it
in?
will be the ones at Wards.
Okay, that worked fine for Valentine's Day, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Anyone else? So we have a motion, we have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Good luck to you, Kevin.
Awesome. Thank you.
Next is an application for a one-day beer and wine license at Guthrie Series Center, Troubadour Concert Series, 2 Van Dusenville Road, Great Barrington. Saturday evening from May 31st, 2025 through August 23rd, 2025. Friday, August 29th, 2025, and Friday, September 19th, 2025. From 7 p.m. to 11:55 p.m. 14 events total.
I think Mo is online.
Oh.
It should be.
Okay,
Hi,
go right ahead.
Hear me there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why don't you just give us a little overview.
yeah. My name is Shivadas Guthrie, but I casually go by Mo. These licenses that we are applying for are for our Troubadour Summer Concert Series. As you had mentioned, we have 14 events this year. We have an amazing lineup this year of both local and national talent. We're very excited to present and bring this music to the community. And anyone who's interested can find more information on our website, GuthrieCenter.org.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion?
I'm
Just come up at first. Yes. Yes.
Michelle Bear, 70 Division Street. I just live a few doors down from the Guthrie State Center. Grew up there, even when Arlo Guthrie would sit on the front steps of the Guthrie Center and play. So I have no problem with the performances. The only issue is they're becoming popular, is the traffic and the parking. And they do, like, for example, on Sunday, there was a walk. Anybody who lives in my area, the speed of the cars on Division Street, Van Dusenville Road is high, it's high. So people will park their cars. They do have, Guthrie Center does have 1 or 2 people there, helping with parking. There's plenty of parking there, but then people are crossing the road. And on Saturday, my husband and I, we were coming down Van Dusenville Road, and a couple almost walked right out in front of our car. There's a perception that we're country and that we don't have a lot of traffic, but we do. You gotta watch where you're going. So my concern is with safety there. Not so much with the traffic because, I've seen a couple close calls, but with people crossing from the parking lot over to the church and back over. They're not stopping, looking both ways. So it would be great if there was maybe a sign up, Guthrie Center could have a sign, use caution crossing or something, just for the events, just for the events there. Also, on Sunday, I was going up Van Dusenville Road and VW buses were parked along the curb in front of the Guthrie Center. So if you're making a right-hand turn to go, but you couldn't see around. So I had to go down and actually pull in almost in the other lane to go up Van Dusenville Road. So there needs to be a little more mindfulness of what's going around in that area, or there could be an accident. All right, thank
Thank
you.
you. Well, would you be willing to put up a sign about pedestrians just to watch both ways?
Absolutely, yeah. We'd be happy to accommodate any wishes of the select board.
Okay, we're not gonna include it in the motion. We know you'll do it if we ask. So, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion for a one-day beer and wine license for the Guthrie Center Troubadour Concert Series, 2 Van Duzenville Road, Great Barrington. Saturday evening from May 31st, 2025 through August 23rd, 2025. Friday, August 29th, 2025, and Friday, September 19th, 2025, from 7 PM to 11:55 PM. 14 events total.
Do I have a second?
One second, the question.
Of course.
I've never been to these, I'm sure you've done them a lot, but I'm presuming you have adequate lighting, and is there a need for police presence as it's 7 to almost midnight and there's alcohol?
I think the police review these, and if they see the need for police, they will talk to him. Yeah, the DRP looks at all of these, right, yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, next we have, a late renewal for annual real estate sign license. For Bishop West Real Estate. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to renew the real estate license for Bishop West Real Estate.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next is the permission for the Great Barrington Memorial Day Parade at 11 PM on Memorial Day. We've already approved it as a time. Do I have a motion?
Just real quick,
Yeah.
AM,
Of an AM, sorry.
Great.
I even wrote PM, you know.
I just didn't know if we were
And
doing
then-
a real change
That
this
is real
year.
dark and hard for people to see, yes. Thank you.
Uh,
Got you here.
Motion to move that the board approve the Memorial Day Parade in downtown Great Barrington. Subject to written confirmation of the event plan, including start and end time. Proposed route location and continued collaboration between the parade organizers, police, fire, and DPW on safety measures.
That was second,
Second, what was the time from this?
11 AM, Holly pointed out.
That's all. Yeah.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Where do we start? You know, where do we start?
Yes.
It was probably by the library, but they're gonna get us out on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Public hearing. To consider the removal of 2 public shade trees at the southeast corner of Anderson Street and Gilmore Avenue on town-owned property shown on Assessor's Map 14, Lot 123, Great Barrington. Trees are Norway maples with 31-inch and 36-inch diameters. Motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
That's second.
Second.
So roll call vote. Phil.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
And it's unanimous. Do I have an explanation of the project?
We have a roadway construction, Joe Avenue, DPW, Great Barrington. We have a roadway construction project for Gilmore Ave, Anderson Cottage and Hillside. The project involves installing a new sidewalk from Gilmore from Anderson to Cottage. And will be on the east side of the road because of the large trees on the opposite side of the road. The little bit of the sidewalk that's left on the east side or the west side will be taken out. And in doing so, placing a concrete sidewalk on the east side, there's 2 Norway with maples on the corner that are in our way. We've discussed with the tree committee, they requested that 2 red oaks be installed at a place to be determined within the project site. So, we'll work that out, maybe another 1 or 2, we can do that too.
Great. Do I have any public comment and questions or anyone to speak in favor or opposition?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, thanks. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question for Joe. That's gonna be a concrete sidewalk
Yes, that's correct.
and that is removed from Main Street in Great Barrington and they're putting a concrete sidewalk in?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Just, Joe, have you talked to the homeowners on the property there? Just,
I haven't,
okay.
no. I've knocked at the door a couple times, but I haven't been able to catch anybody.
Okay, I can get you in touch with them. No,
Okay.
no,
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
mean, sorry, yeah, that was gonna be my question as well. I mean, these are both essentially adjacent to the same lot, right?
They're on town property in front of the same house.
Right. So, and you haven't been able to communicate with that
No,
house?
he's been there quite a few times, been there a long time last year doing drainage work and haven't been able to catch anyone at home.
But, so if we, sorry for the hypothetical, but if they wake up, if you take down those trees and they show up 6 months down the road and say, well, you didn't get our permission to take these down, are we,
That's why we're here.
are we protected?
We're the ones giving permission, it's on.
No,
town
I
property.
hear you.
They should be notified before they do it, I agree, but
Yeah,
Where are they-
I will continue to reach out to them.
But we've done all we need to do based upon legal procedures.
And the unfortunate thing is, the new sidewalk will be right on the curb line of the road. And there's not enough town property behind the sidewalk to put another tree. So it's not like we can, without going in their yard, which rather not put a town tree in someone's yard.
Thank you.
I have a question, Joe. Will the sidewalk be ADA compliant?
It will.
Thank you.
Eileen, go ahead. Just unmute yourself, Eileen.
It's the unmuting that's the problem. Has the DPW written the homeowner? Or is this,
Have you written the homeowner?
I have not. so-
Not yet.
okay, because a letter might get through. So,
We'll make contact.
Yeah, they'll contact them before they take the trees down.
maybe there should be a requirement that there has to be a written communication. Could the selectmen require that?
The requirements, this is Chris Rembold speaking, the requirements are that if it's a public tree within the right of way, it's up to the select board to take it down. Give the authorization, the town provides notice in the newspaper and notice on the trees themselves.
Oh, so there's been a notice on the tree. Yes,
There will be.
okay, thank you.
There will be. Okay. Anyone else from the select board? Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
The roll call vote. Bill.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Bye.
Eric.
Aye.
And I. Any select board discussion?
The only thing I'll say about it is that Norways are notorious for, falling apart and they grow fast and fall apart easily, so.
You have a good point there,
Yeah.
because they're not in a dangerous situation, but they're not in the best looking shape.
Yeah. So I think, I know sometimes people get confused, they're not confused, but see a maple tree, but these are very fast and they don't last very long. So.
Yeah, no, I think that this makes a lot of sense. I just want to get you in touch with, I texted him, so I will get you guys
So
in
you
touch.
have
soon.
name and address, I can their name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion.
I make a motion, for the removal of two public tree, shade trees at the corner of Anderson Street and Gilmore Ave on town-owned property shown on Assessor's Map 14, Lot 123, Great Barrington, Mass. The trees are Norway maples with 31 and 36 diameters.
Have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you, Joe. New business, appointment to the Great Barrington Cultural Council, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to, appoint, a Leanne Lacombe to the Cultural Council.
Do I have a second?
A second, what did the name? I have Anne.
and Lynn.
Oh, I didn't think you said that, yeah. I thought you said that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Next is to review and submit a letter to the Massachusetts House and Senate supporting funding for Massachusetts Vulnerability Preparedness MVP grant program. If you want to give a little background?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I was contacted by the Houstonic Valley Association, which is often a partner of ours when we're doing stream work, river work, watershed work, and a really great partner with culvert replacement to manage extreme precipitation and road stream crossings. Houstonic Valley Association is a great partner of ours. They wrote to us regarding the state's municipal vulnerability preparedness program. And our joint hopes that it be reauthorized at the state level and reauthorized with adequate funding. So what we're seeking the select board's permission to either write a letter in support of that funding or join on to a statewide letter of support. And there's a sample letter in there for you in your packet tonight. If you could approve that in principle and give us your permission before the chair to go ahead and sign on to that or sign something very similar, that would be great.
Motion, please.
Make recommendation that the select board join the MVP advocacy effort to authorize the chair to sign onto or to send on town letterhead, a letter similar to that outlined above.
You have a second. Discussion.
Yes, Chris, it makes reference to our vulnerability assessment. That we're going to do, do you recall when that was done by the town?
What we have in place in town is a couple of different plans. We did a hazard mitigation and climate adaptation plan, I think in 2018, 2019, followed by an MVP planning and then an action document that describes our plans and priorities in these. So to give you a sense of what has been funded is much of the Mansfield improvements have been funded by the MVP program. And we're seeking other grant funds for like the old Maze Park improvements and things like that. A fantastic program, really important for this, for the state and for the town.
Terrific. And I'll just applaud their efforts to ask that communities have a longer period of time to spend these monies if they're awarded them, but by going to 3 to 5 years. So that's a very practical and terrific idea.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Ben, go right ahead.
A little intro for the next item. The next is an overview of out-of-school, after-school childcare options from local providers. This discussion arises in part pursuant to the board's strategic planning priority regarding childcare, which drove the formation of the childcare committee, and also in part pursuant to conversations that began in earnest with our grant-funded community liaison work. Through these conversations, the town is learning that quality childcare for all ages of children is not only critical to the social, physical, and emotional development of a child, it is also fundamental to our town's economic health. Affordable housing and transportation are critical to economic development, but childcare is an equally critical component of our economy. Without access to affordable childcare, it can be impossible for some parents and caregivers to hold jobs, making it more difficult for employers to hire qualified workers. The board will hear from 3 local providers about what they do, who they work with, and why their work is important. You will also hear about the challenges they face in delivering this essential service for our community. Those challenges cannot be overcome and problems cannot be addressed unless there is a mutual understanding of the issues. This agenda item is a chance to learn and to share information and to broaden our understanding of the issue. And I just want to quickly thank everyone who is here to speak about this tonight. I know members of the Child Committee and Joe have done a lot of work in getting this ready. And I also just want to thank the board for being open to hearing this tonight. I think I hope we get to do more of this kind of work of just kind of having presentations to kind of understand what is happening in the community more. I think it's a good way to build strength and be prepared.
So tonight, there are 3 people who would like to address the board. Denise Lucy from Berkshire South Regional Community Center, JP Oaken, who's the director of out of school time for Berkshire Hills, and Cynthia Gray, the education director at Greenagers. Cynthia will hopefully be able to share her screen and walk us through this. And whoever is speaking first, please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is John Paul Oak, and I'm the director of out of school time for the Berkshire Hills Regional School District. I run a program that we call CLEO, which stands for Community Learning and Enrichment Opportunities. The purpose of this program is to provide opportunities for community building, learning, and enrichment for children in grades 1 through 8 at Berkshire Hills School District. We currently run a program Monday through Thursday after school in 3 10-week sessions. So we do not have the exact same calendar as the school year. But this was what was required by our initial grant setup. We also run 5 weeks in the summer historically. This coming summer, we will be going to 3 weeks for budget reasons. We run from the end of the school day, so that is at 2:45 at the middle school and 3:15 at the elementary school until 5 o'clock, at which point we provide busing free of charge. We run 2 trunk line buses, one to Great Barrington and another to Housatonic, Glendale, and West Stockbridge. All activities are developmentally significant. We make a point of trying to make sure that these are opportunities for enrichment. This is not just, as I like to call it, child storage. This is highly engaging activities. We have extremely positive responses from our students and our families. We conducted a recent survey of families with an over 95% of respondents giving us the highest possible rating on satisfaction. A little bit about our demographics. Typically, we in grades 1 through 4 at Muddy Brook Elementary School, we have 45 to 60 students per day participating. At the middle school in grades 5 through 8, we typically have 24 to 40 students participating. A little more variation at the middle school, but the elementary school is pretty rock solid. If we're missing 1 or 2 or 3 kids, that's unusual. Of those students, 64% have at least one indicator of high need. That's the state DESE's definition of high need, as being economically disadvantaged, an English language learner, or being a student on an ed plan. 64% have at least one of those indicators. 28% of our participants have 2 of those indicators, and we have 8% of our participants who have all 3 of those indicators. This is a high needs group, and we take a lot of pride in helping them provide a rich experience. As I mentioned, we provide free busing to Great Barrington and Housatonic, Glendale, and West Stockbridge. We also provide a bus at the end of the school day to Berkshire South. Typically, that's around 10 to 16 kids. Our funding situation is in a state of flux. This program was about 35% funded by a federal 21st century grant that is ending this year. There is some question as to whether it's going to exist for anybody starting next year with the dissolution of the Department of Education. We chose not to apply for re-enrollment in this grant this year. This was our final year. We could have applied for re-enrollment, but not knowing whether it would actually be there in the coming year, it requires a lot of spending by the school district. So we were afraid that we would lay out a lot of funds in order to meet the requirements of this grant and then have it yanked out from underneath us. So we chose not to reapply. So that puts a little bit of a dent in our budget. Currently, we spent about $326,000 on our program for this year. We are theoretically anticipating spending about $266,000 next year. This is hypothetical. We are still exploring the options. I'm looking at Steve saying, yeah, you haven't seen any of these numbers yet. We are looking at possibly asking parents to contribute. At this point, up to this point, no child, no parent has had to contribute anything to this program. We are looking at the possibility of asking for parent contributions in the coming year. So that's the state of where we are at the moment. I don't know if we want to launch right into Janice or if you have questions specifically for me.
Any questions for JP?
I do, I guess, but maybe you might have answered it. When you had mentioned the people that may have a high risk or high needs, you didn't mention that some of these people may be economically deprived in that area. You just mentioned other things, but not money.
No, economically disadvantaged is one of the state indicators.
Okay,
So, so we do not distinguish between the three indicators when we are determining a student of need. That they're all equal. So a student who is economically disadvantaged would have a 1. A student who is economically disadvantaged, who is also an English language learner, would have a 2, and on an ed plan would have a 3.
I have one other one for you. What happens when you start to maybe ask the parents to make a contribution and the parent is unable to?
So the theoretical hypothetical budget that I put together is based on a 40 parent contribution. So that would be roughly 40% of our parents, which is an approximation of the number of students we have who are not considered economically disadvantaged. We would never deny a student enrollment for inability to pay.
Beautiful, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Janice Lucy from Berkshire South. It feels really tall. Okay. So many of you know me. Berkshire South has now been around since 2002. So in 2010, when Berkshire Hills was getting their very first 21st century grant, that was happening at that time in 2010. I was a part of the group that had Tom Kelly come on board. We at Berkshire South were somewhat frightened because now where we have always provided childcare but have needed to charge for it, we were very excited for our community that they would now be able to have free after-school care. But that also posed as a concern for Berkshire South. So over the years, we've done our best to provide wraparound care. We've been in Richmond, we've been in Farmington, we've been anywhere where they have needed us to show up. We've been at before school at Muddy Brook, or at before school at Muddy Brook. We've been at the homework center at the middle school. All of this, which really led to Clio being as successful as it is today, which is really great for these families. It's obvious our community has great need and does not have the ability to pay what it costs to run these programs. And so I'll give you an answer sort of before we get there, but we right now have room, we have capacity, we are only at about 40% in our after-school program. Because parents really, I don't believe, can afford to come. They also may feel somewhat stigmatized if they need to apply for financial assistance, which we do have available for up to 50% of our programs for all of these. So to give you a big picture look, We run action adventures. Anytime you see action adventures, it means that we're running out of school time programming. So that's summer camp, full day, full summer, year-round after school, half days, vacation weeks, in-service days like Wednesday, any snow days, things like that. The buses so graciously come directly to us by way of the school district. We serve Southern Berkshire School District and we serve Berkshire Hills, and we even have a couple of students that are homeschooled and need social connection. So they use our services for those reasons as well. And then we run until 5:30 p.m. So that parents can pick up after work. We also provide after-school care for preschool students. So students that are going to Berkshire Hills who might be in the early K and pre-K program getting out midday or need care after school and are not kindergarten age yet, they need to go into Sunshine Preschool for after-school care based on our licensing. The one unique item about our after-school programming is that parents are able to sign up as they need it. We have a number of students that are living in dual homes. Sometimes they're with mom, sometimes they're with dad. We have students who partake in all different types of sports. But so every single month is not the same, and nor could they carry the financial burden of always being committed to an after-school program. So on a monthly basis, parents go in, they fill out a calendar marking off which days they need, they add it up at the desk, and they make a payment at the front desk, or we bill them as needed. So this just gives you a little picture of between what's happening in after school versus what's happening at our summer day camp program. So there's two different licensures. Department of Early Education and Care covers our after school year-round program, and the Department of Public Health does the summer camp program. There's a stark difference in the licensing because in the summer months, kids can go outside, they can use a lot more of our space. And so we can take up to 70 students per day. In fact, we are licensed for up to 80 students per day in the summer camp for school age. We just cap it at 70 because the building is busting at its seams. Year round, we take 39 students a day in our after school program. We have 51% and 40% of students from Great Barrington and Housatonic in both of those programs, and otherwise it's a smattering of students that are coming from all other areas, Stockbridge, New Marlboro, even in Sheffield, et cetera. We do have openings right now in after school. We do not wait, we're on a wait list right now for summer camp. So the summer campus is 94% full. If a parent needs like 1 week in particular, they can contact us and see if they can get on the list. Other times too, parents who are interested in summer camp, they might be able to just get on the wait list, and some people do cancel unexpectedly. Right now, we're serving in after school 72 students year to date, and in our summer camp, we'll have 130 unique students. But this is also just our school age programs. We also have the preschool on site, so that just gives a little context. And that's another 20 students per day. Okay, so what are they doing? We're really fortunate to have a pool, so we get those kids in the water as soon as we can. The after school program swims every Tuesday and Friday. They have snack when they get to the program, do the whole hands washing and everything, have a debrief as a community while they're having their snack and check in for the day. We do focus on a lot of social emotional work and really are trying to do our best to mirror that which the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education is trying to achieve in their work in building curiosity and supporting youth where they are and helping them guide their own way through programming. But we definitely keep them very busy. They're doing nutrition activities and cooking activities, and they're always, running around the building. Based on grant availability and what funds we have, we've been able to get a number of swimmers swimming and swim lessons. We even have students who did not know how to swim who are now on our flying fish swim team, which is our sort of amateur swim team at the center. For day camp, kids swim every single day. So they're there, it's chaos. So I would say, if you want to swim at Berkshire South, don't go to the pool between 11 and 1 during the summer. Because it's a rotating group of 3 different groups of kids. And then we have field trips most every week. If we're not doing that, we're bringing in guest instructors for things like magic shows or that sort of thing. We do have field trips during vacation weeks during the after-school program. And then our summer camp is themed weeks, so kids may sign up because they like certain things, but what we find is that really parents are signing up their students because they need that consistent full care from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the 9 weeks of summer camp. So we basically our goal is to make sure that there's no gap in service for parents, but we do have to shut down occasionally for professional development days. And we also have to train like 20 counselors. So we have to take some time to do that in the days leading up to camp. So our pricing is going to look very expensive to you, especially when they're not paying much for after school. So we base our pricing on the reimbursement vouchers for the state of Massachusetts through EEC. If we don't charge this, we forfeit this amount. And so that's a little bit complicated, but it's part of the rules around the state vouchers, if we don't charge what the reimbursement rate is. Again, there's financial aid up to 50% available for these programs based on the sliding scale, and we accept state vouchers. So students that are on state vouchers in many cases are paying nothing, but they have to go through that process. For those not eligible for whatever reason, we then have financial aid available after that. And in alignment with what JP shared, we have about 50% of our youth are in that indicator of high need area. We also have coupled within that, we have a number of students that are being served by foster care, who are dealing with DCF investigations within the home or in the family, or living in dual homes. And so we also sort of lump them into that category. For us, I just gave you a really high level view. This is the combined program budget just for our school age. You've all heard me say time and time again, the central has no money. And so you'll look at that and say, but you're making $11,000. And that's really just to keep the preschool open. So anything we make off the top is really only to help keep the rest of the programs going. We have a number of the same grant funders that JP has. We're funded by the Berkshire United Way, by the ASOST grant through MAP, Massachusetts After School Partnership. And we have a number of other private funders as well, people who might have designated funds for scholarship for camp and things like that. We've only provided $31,500 in financial assistance in the last year for programming, but we expect for that to go up in the near future. And so for us, I would say the same thing is probably true. JP has a pool of students that he's able to pull upon to come help staff his programs in a way that has made it challenging for us to make sure that we get consistency, that we're able to pay. Childcare is really hard if you don't have children and or have not been around the room of a number of students with behavioral challenges who went through the pandemic without social connection and everything else that's going on in their life. It's a real hard job and it's underpaid across the board. The state and the departments have done a lot of work to help increase the minimum requirements of what people in this area should be paid. But truthfully, it's a very demanding job that should be paid more. And so quantity of staff, quality of staff, consistency, and competitive funding rates for them, pay rates is important. For us, long-term vulnerability around the funding, we are not sure we are going to get all of those grants this year. Those are the ones that we budgeted for, but like the MAP funds that come attached to the state in any way, we're very scared about those. And so our goal is to increase funding so that we can then either increase the amount of financial assistance that goes out to get more people enrolled, or to find a way to creatively lower the overall daily cost to families without jeopardizing our voucher funding, to be able to get people in there. And then we do need more spots for our 3 and 4-year-olds. Those students that come to come to Berkshire South after their half day or early kid program that ends at 3 in the afternoon, we can only hold a couple of spots for those kids, but there's more families that need those, because if our preschool is full and can only take 20 students a day, it would not make financial sense for us to hold spots for those kids if they're only paying after school rates instead of the full day rates. We have big dreams about increasing our programming. I think I've mentioned that before to all of you, so that we could add infant care, toddler care, all of that. I'm happy and proud to be a part of the child care committee with Great Barrington, who's doing work in analyzing all of that and trying to come up with a better understanding of how we can best serve them very well.
Thanks, Denise. Questions?
I'm struck by the hesitancy by some of the parents to apply for the financial aid for the after-school program.
We're not quite sure what the barrier is. Is it whether they don't know that it's available, although we've done a lot of communication, but they may not even know that it's available with financial aid. We've been lower on staffing ourselves, so it's been more difficult for us to really get our boots on the ground and into those families' ears. But I will share that ever since the center has become a part, and myself a part of that committee for the child care committee, people are now very aware that Sunshine Preschool exists, and we are nearly full. So that has been really helpful, and I think this forum allows for us to hopefully raise awareness for families that we have services they can take part in.
Anyone else? Thanks, James.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia Gray. I'm from Green Acres, the education director. I've worked for Green Acres for about 2.5 years, and I'm a program partner with Clio and several other schools in Berkshire County. My program operates a little bit differently than either of their programs, as I serve more as a partner to those programs. I have lots of pieces to the puzzle. It's not just after-school care. Green Acres provides out-of-school programming as a community partner for middle school students, and this includes after-school partnerships with Clio, vacation programming, and with other local community partners such as Flying Cloud, which I'm sure you've heard of, and summer programming with both of those program partners. Excuse me. One of the things that we struggle most with is transportation. We have a 12-passenger van that we utilize, and because we have so many programs in different schools, we're sharing that van here and there and hither and yon, and trying to get kids where they need to be at the various sites we visit. I'll talk about those site visits in just a minute. We could offer more programming to kids if we had more transportation available. As you well know, maybe you've heard before, transportation for students is very, very expensive, and getting them around our area is really difficult. Green Acres will be looking for grants to purchase a larger passenger van dedicated to the education department. So hopefully we can get students to programs more readily. Green Acres relies on a combination of foundation grants, state grants, and partial fundings from our partner organizations to cover the costs of running our programming. Our current model allows us to provide programming at no charge to the students. So one of the things that is coming up is programs like Clio, they're losing their funding, and part of our funding is going to go away too. So in the next year or so, I don't know how our programming is going to be supported without partial payment from Clio. So we're trying to figure that out. I don't want to charge the students who already are underserved, underrepresented to do the things that we do. Our programs are really unique and really special, and I want the kids who are typically underrepresented to have a chance to get to do the things we do. So this is what we do. We offer sense of place education. Sense of place means deeply, deeply connecting to the place you live. We have kids from all over the world living in Great Barrington. I want them to fall in love with Great Barrington. I want them to fall in love with the land, the nature, the trees, the bugs, the beetles, the museums, everything about Great Barrington. We take them to the farms, we take them to Norman Rockwell Museum, we take them to Ice Glen and teach them about how the glaciers descended through the glen and then left these huge boulders there for them to explore. We do this all at no charge to them. A lot of these kids would go home and either be babysitting or on their phones all day. We have a no media policy, and I want to keep it that way. We take kids on field trips so that they can learn about the land and community. They learn about the river walk. They pick up trash that people have left in their town. And then we do kind of these trash edits, like, where did this piece of plastic come from? Where did it really come from? Where was it made? Where does plastic come from? And trace it back to the original source and try to connect them really to where the root of all this starts, the earth. And I just want you to connect with the students. I didn't put our numbers here. I could talk about our financials. It's going to be tricky next year. Are we going to be able to afford to hire more staff? I don't know. Are we going to be able to serve all the kids that we had last year? I don't know. We're going to try. We're going to try really, really hard. But I want you to see and hear from one of our students in her voice what it's like to be a student at Green Acres. Maybe.
Iris. I've been engaged for 2 years. I've done the summer program and the after school program. My favorite thing is I've done is arts and crafts. Can you hear it? Summer planting, doing art, going outside.
Would be better for the microphone in front. I pause again. How should we do this? How should we do this? How should we do this? Got it. Just play it without.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
You had it first. That's.
Can we turn this microphone on?
This one should be echoing.
What happens if you stop sharing on the screen and then you just play it next to this owl? Without sharing it on the screen?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Sorry.
All right.
I just want you to hear from the.
We can get it close to this, to these mics on the table, and we can make sure everybody at home is hearing.
I'm familiar with the owl.
My name is Iris, and I've been in Green Acres for 2 years. I've done the summer program and the after school program. My favorite things I've done at Green Acres is art and craft stuff, like during the summer planting, doing art, going outside. I've learned about like really bonding with people and you guys still have this project, it's back, maybe last year, we made our lights, like, I think it was like kind of like engineering, kind of, it was in the workshop working here, and we made our like lights, I still have that, it's still working somehow.
Well, you guys got to see what we did.
Questions for Cynthia?
There were
Just-
some tools, there were hiking.
No, it was-
Really nice.
It was very evocative, yeah. Could you talk just a bit about, some of the other, like, funding shortfalls that you're kind of anticipating this coming year? I know, like the AmeriCorps. Yeah,
Could be
sorry.
surrounding our after-school programming. Typically, about 50% of our after-school programs are covered by the school program themselves. Our after-school programs work under the umbrella of the school organizations, typically 21st Century or like the Clio program, depending on which school we're working under. So I am working diligently to apply for grants to cover those shortfalls. It's a really short timeline to make up the funding that we will be missing out on. Coming this September. We've gotten a grant to cover the summer in its entirety. So we will be able to offer 5 weeks this summer to the middle school students free of charge, including snacks, lunches, and transportation, and all of the hikes and activities that we always do.
Anyone else? Bill?
Yeah, just taking a step back.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm looking at this the right way, just big picture. It looks like you break the pieces into after school, preschool, and then summer camp. Is that right? Is that
We
right?
don't have preschool, we have after school, summer camp. There are a whole bunch of other programs
Right.
that the education department at Green Acres does, but this meeting is just about after school and summer camp.
But so Green Age is just about after school. Yeah, that's why you're right, no,
We
this
do field
isn't,
trips, we do
yeah,
in-school residencies, we do all sorts of things.
no, this is incredibly important and seems like there's many layers to it. So
Many
I'm just
layers.
trying to begin to understand it a little better, so.
Yeah.
But is it just big picture, if I'm looking at it as after school, preschool and summer programs, is that fair?
They don't have preschool.
So we run an after-school program.
Right.
We hire Green Acres to
Right,
come in
right.
and provide that. Green Acres also provides a ton of other in-school services that have nothing to do with my after-school program,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
You're
I'm a
good.
program partner for Clio, but I'm not a program partner. Maybe someday I will be, but not yet. We haven't become.
Yeah,
program
it's
partners.
this, the three presenters that we've seen today, I think are kind of just representing a very small part of a very large
small.
ecosystem, yeah.
The reason that I'm here is that I'm just one of many, many, many smaller providers that are also kind of this web that is holding up
Right.
the families, the economy. We're employing so many people. Green Acres is supporting now 5 AmeriCorps members that lost their contracts just a few weeks ago. And they've all chosen to stay. And I know technically we're in Egremont, but they're out there right now with families and children, giving them snacks, playing games and having fun. They provided transportation to families tonight. So we are here,
Yeah.
even though we're technically over there, deeply invested in the families and children of Great Barrington.
And I'm sorry, so, we're all relying on a chunk of state aid, and in your instance, there's a chunk of federal aid through the. So are you getting any guidance at all from anyone of authority as to how you may be affected with respect to those monies for next year?
So the after school and out of school time grants are state grants. They are administered in Western Massachusetts by the Massachusetts After School Partnership, who has contracted with the state to manage those. Last year, those grants were cut pretty dramatically, in a governor, line item veto that cut them. Don't quote me on these numbers, but it was something in the neighborhood of, it went from 11 million to $7 million or something like that. Right now, what we are hearing from MAP is that they're hoping to keep it level funded to this past year. So that lower number, so we're hoping that they don't go down more. But that's all we know at the moment, from the state. I think we also all get funding from Berkshire United Way, who similarly told us that they are working really, really hard to try to keep at level funding. Because they're having the same struggles that everybody is.
Any other questions for Cynthia? Thank you very much.
I just want to say thank you for I didn't really know tons about it, but I'm glad you explained it and I like the idea and I'm glad that we're trying to do it.
The public is always welcome.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the things Will Conklin presented at Rotary, and there's a lot more. Cynthia was limited to after school.
Yes.
And so if you really want to learn about Greenagers, we've heard a lot from Janice, and that's a terrific program. JP runs a terrific. You've just scratched the surface because that's what you were asked to do. So if anybody wants to know more about them, make an appointment
I
to see
talked
them.
about 40 of my students and I saw 1,200 students last
Yes.
year, so I just was only speaking about 40,
Yes.
so we do a lot
Yeah.
there.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Michelle
man.
Bear, 70 Division Street. Interesting presentation. We were having a conversation before the meeting started. It's something my husband, who works for the Westfield YMCA, is really interested in. He's not here tonight because he's pulling together their summer program at the Westfield Y. They have a robust before school, after school summer program. They do charge for the programs, but they also have financial assistance that is really taken advantage of. Westfield isn't really an affluent community, though they do pull some of their help in Westfield State, which is just down the road, which is excellent, but they have multiple programs in the city of Westfield. This leads me to I have a question. Much like the town of Great Barrington is reaching out to other communities and collaborating in order to save money. I was just curious if organizations are talking to organizations in other communities and saying, how are you doing this? And because I think that's really important. Phil brought up a good point. Why aren't people taking advantage of financial assistance? Whereas where my husband works, it's commonplace. It's discreet, it's in confidence and everything. Is it the way it's being promoted at your organization or whatever? Not that you're doing anything wrong, but like in anything, can we do it better? Can we do it better? One thing that did stand out was the Greenagers transportation. And one thing I love in Great Barrington is the Tri-Town Connector. And there's collaboration again. Is there any way Great Barrington can free up one of the vehicles to help? Just to take the edge off your
We
issue.
actually do use that to get high school students back and forth, but we can't use it for a program with 14 kids in it.
Right, but is there anything else the town of Great Barrington can do with those vans? Because they're everywhere, which I think is fantastic. But there seems to be a need, there may be a pocket of availability on that side that perhaps that could be used, that's all.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I've been about the same. That, wonder if that can be done.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening. Thanks, everyone. I have come down with the latest daycare cold. Otherwise, I would be there joining you in person. Thank you to Jovanita, who really did some excellent work getting all of these collaborators here to speak with you tonight. I just wanted to say hello and raise my hand as your new chair of the Great Barrington Child Care Committee. This issue is one of many that we are working to help understand all of the challenges and potential solutions that exist. And I'm looking forward to working with these programs and many more and bringing a lot more detailed information to the select board over the next couple of months.
Thank you very much, Kate. Anyone else? Go right ahead, state your name and address.
My name is Aretha Whitehead. I live in 15 Cone Avenue in Housatonic. I worked for Greenagers for about 7 years. And the last 2-3 years, I've been the site coordinator for Clio at Du Bois Middle School. And then this summer, I'm working back with Greenagers. And I'll actually be teaching the summer program for the middle schoolers. So this will be my 10th summer working with formerly Project Connection, now Clio, under the 21st Century Grant. So I've been with the program a long time. I've seen the effects, and we've sort of brushed on a little bit of that, but I can't tell you how many kids, how many young adults I run into now who were in my program, 8-7 years ago, that still remember me. I still keep in touch with. Greenagers is just such a wonderful organization with such great curriculum, but really what Clio has done is make sure that every single program that they're offering is enriching. It is so far from childcare, basic childcare. We have Berkshire Botanical Garden, we have Flying Deers doing their Survive program right now with the middle schoolers. We have teachers from both schools, from Muddy Brook and Du Bois, that are going outside of sometimes their comfort zone and teaching things that they don't normally teach during the day. We have these really unique STEM programs and music programs and yoga and mindfulness. And I guess what I wanted to convey is that I have spent so much time with this program, and I have seen such results from the children, from the families. Some of them are here tonight. I've met with some families on Zoom, and Marta, who's amazing, last week to talk about this summer, because we don't have transportation for the summer program. We're right at the end of our fiscal year. We're kind of just using the money that we have left for as much as we can do. Therefore, busing being one of the most expensive things in our program, we're not able to provide it this summer. I was really impressed with the families trying to come up with other solutions, carpooling or whatnot, but it's a little heartbreaking to have to tell families that have relied on this program, whose older siblings have relied on this program for so long, that we can't bus them home. And I'm not, saying give us the money or anything like that. I know what I'm doing up here, but I just want to stress how important it is for it to be accessible, for Clio to be accessible for every single family. Whether that means charging some and not charging others, I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to be like, but I know for a fact that if this program does not continue or is not sustainable, that you're going to have a lot of families that are suffering in this community that I love so much. So, yeah, just want to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
State your name and address.
Hi, my name is Angelica Quisby and I am at 72 State Road. And I just wanted to say that all the programs that they're saying are very helpful to me as a parent. I have a child in every school. I have at Muddy Brook, Du Bois, and also at the high school. And they do attend the after school, and they were mentioning that we would not have buses this summer, which is very hard for me because I work at the hospital and my hours are from 7 to 3:30. And the programs are from 8:45 to 3:30. So normally there's someone home, but we do only have one car for transportation. So if I'm at work, the car is at work with me. I don't have anyone, maybe I can carpool, but it's like really a lot of communication. You have to trust someone with your own child. So the busing was really helpful. The other thing, I do have a toddler, so for the programs at the South Berkshire South, I was unaware of the funding. And I have been on a wait list for childcare, and I thought those were the same grants. So that's maybe another thing. If they're two different grants, that's awesome, because I thought they were the same, but I didn't know. So yeah, so my high schooler has worked with teenagers, and he does the summer program there, and he really enjoys it. He's very hands-on there, and they build like gazebos, and he does like carpentry work, which he really enjoys. So I think that's like really great. So yeah, I just wanted to say that the programs are very important, like for us parents who have multiple children of different ages. And if there was something to happen to the programs, it would be really hard for me to have some type of time to work. And that's all I want to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Maybe.
Buenas tardes. Good evening, I'm Silvana Broño, I'm gonna interpret what she's gonna say. Sandra. Mi nombre es Sandra Rodríguez, estoy en representación de CAPEI, de la comunidad, del equipo de padres de la comunidad latina. Mi nombre es Sandra Rodríguez y estoy en representación. So, my name is Sandra Rodriguez, and I'm here in representing the group of the parents, CAPEI. CAPEI. It is English Learner Parent Advisory Council. Básicamente, para reforzar la idea, el mensaje que les queremos dar, para nosotros es muy importante estos programas porque nuestra comunidad. Yeah. Oh, no, that's fine. You can go ahead. We weren't sure if we can do, if you can do both. So go ahead,
Maria Lisa, I don't think you need to, but you tell us what's best.
Yeah, no. Wait. Okay. Oh, sorry.
And
Okay.
Sorry. And Maria Lisa, will you interpret for the room here? Thank you.
Para reforzar el mensaje de parte de nuestra comunidad latina, somos gran beneficiarios de estos programas. Y una de las principales causas por las que realmente nuestra comunidad está pensando en integrar a los estudiantes en el programa de Summer es básicamente el transporte. Porque básicamente ese es nuestro horario laboral y es una gran ayuda para nosotros poder tener ese servicio. Como ahorita mencionó, hemos buscado algunas soluciones para ayudarnos entre nosotros. Sin embargo, existen algunas barreras, por ejemplo, como los seguros de transporte o la disponibilidad de poder llevar nuestros hijos en algunos carros particulares. También se exploró la posibilidad de utilizar un servicio de taxi, pero requiere que los padres vayan con los niños. Entonces, eso limita mucho la capacidad de nosotros de poder enviarlos a los programas extra clase en este verano.
el hecho de que nos puedan colaborar y puedan colaborar básicamente a los programas, les hacemos extensiva nuestro agradecimiento porque realmente nuestras familias lo necesitan. Básicamente era eso. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Just come on up, state your name, address.
Good evening, my name is Marta Escobar and the parent and family liaison from Berkshire Hills. I have the opportunity to work with the immigrant families. And just I want to highlight the incredible benefit that the CLIO program have for not only for the kids, but for the families. They have the kids have the opportunity to explore their talents in theater, music, art, in many different ways. And also to help the families. This is the time when the parents work very, very hard. This is the time when they have a lot of work to do. And just I want to say thank you to JP and all her team, his team, because they were incredible with all the families. And that's all I want to say. We don't want the kids to be in the summer at home with their cell phone all the time, just to explore and socialize with other kids and learn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. I'm Bedlin Young Taft. I live on 44th Street in Jose. I'm here as support. I'm a teacher at the school district, and then I work at the after school program. My kids went there, and I don't know, I'm everywhere. Anyway, say that as a teacher, like especially with young kids, consistency is something that is very important in the life of a kid. So during the summer, most of these kids, parents have to work, sometimes 2-3 jobs, and these kids are home during the summer. So coming to those programs help these kids have that consistency. They know they come today, this is what's gonna happen. Instead of when they're home, I mean, even having a warm meal, like they know they're gonna have something to eat today, they don't have to worry about that, and even the parents. So that's what I would like to say. So if whatever can be done to help this kid attend this program will be beneficial for the town, for the community, and those kids that are gonna replace all us here when we are done. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Sure.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruby, and I'm here because I know everybody knows how important is everybody here in the organization. I'm very grateful because when Kobe was here, they did a great job with our families, our kids, helping with greenagers. Arita was there 7:30, 8 a.m. receiving our kids. They were safe there, working the whole COVID time there. And also Berkshire South, my daughter was there for many years. And I think it's very important because everybody needs to know Berkshire South is helping and helping and helping. I was there with my daughter because I had a really hard time. I said, what can I do now? I need a safe place for my daughter, but I didn't know about Berkshire South. And I didn't know how they are helping families when we couldn't pay for the daycare. So everybody needs to know we need to save the organization, we need to support the organizations, and because we are a great community, and I think that is a big situation and we need to be together or help the organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
JP, can you just clarify, so summer busing completely gone?
For this summer, yes.
Okay, I'm being told two different things by Peter, so Peter's saying there's still busing.
For the
So
summer,
he said there's spot busing, it's not inclusive, so we need to clarify this and get the word out if there is.
there is not.
Okay, you should know that.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Move ahead. Citizen speak time. Go ahead.
Hi, Michelle Levere, 70 Division Street. Not to be a broken record, the thing on transportation, I'm just hung up on, I'm sorry. And I'm really gonna hate to drive by the senior center or something and see vans sitting there when they could be used. As a taxpayer, I'll pay it if there's bang for the buck. But to pay for something that's just sitting in a parking lot when you have kids, I grew up poor, my parents might have a car, 7 brothers and sisters. And I think I had this conversation at Berkshire Hills School Committee meeting, the after-school bus. If it wasn't for an after-school bus, I couldn't participate in the activities. It was a long walk between Monument Mountain and Division Street. So, like I said, I realize it's not that easy. There's insurance to keep in mind. and
We'll take
everything.
volunteer drivers too.
I tell you.
The word is fantastic.
So, but like I said, as a taxpayer, knowing that my money's being stretched like that is comforting to me. My other question is on the translations of the instructions that were on the screen. I didn't see, could they be put on the website?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea to have them in English and Spanish. I work for Lenox Public Schools and we really strive to offer translation and interpretation to, I mean, I do it every day. I'm the one that coordinates it.
For tonight, it's just for this. meeting,
Right,
but-
right, but I think it's a great idea to have that and to have the instructions on the website, so when you go into Zoom, there it is. And my other question is the vacancy on the finance committee, how is that going to be addressed?
It'll be advertised until the next selection will be an appointment.
Appointment, okay, who does the appointment, the select board? All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Yeah, come on.
Evelina Pagano, 74 Division Street. I just want to say, thank you to everyone on the select board because, I know that, it has been made clear to me that just having people come and talk about what's happening in the community is not sort of like the normal business that happens in the select board, and that this is sort of a different ask of you all, and you said yes, and you were willing to have this happen, and a lot of people showed up that probably have never been here before. And, you know, this is an opportunity for people to understand even how your meetings work, right? And that they can come and they can say things and feel included in the community, and that what happens here is part of their lives, and that their lives can be something that also influence you and help you do your jobs well. So I just really appreciate this, and I'm glad that this happened to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No one online? Select board time. Bill, Ben.
I just want to say thank you again to Joe for putting together, to Jenny, Cynthia, JP for everything you do in the community, and to everyone who came out tonight to just share your stories about what these programs mean to you. I love bringing people together, kind of just discussing this. I think we touched on the fact that this is just one very small part of a very vast, complicated, but incredibly important ecosystem that supports working families in this town. And so tonight, having these kind of conversations of understanding exactly just what these programs do and how important they are, and kind of get the ideas turning of what we can do to make sure you have everything you need, because you're so important. So thank you all so much, and thank you for everyone for just coming and being here tonight.
That's fine. Darko?
Yes, I just want to thank you all for educating me on how all these programs work. I appreciate getting that knowledge from you and the good work you're doing, and keep it up.
Darren?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Media time. Unanimous consent, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.